Right, welcome back everyone. Today we've got a Hayter 41 in for, got this as a spares or repairs as a non-runner. So let's take a look and see what's up with it. Right then, so this little Hayter we got here, it actually come in as a non-runner. It is the self-drive model and it has got the one lever high and adjuster and that all works. Normally they break on these, so it's a bonus that that's working. What actually the problem was with this, it wasn't actually priming on the primer bulb, and it can either be one or two things when it's not priming. The tube in that comes from the carburetor that sucks the fuel up, sometimes they do fall off. I've known that before. Or the primer bulb's the issue, where it could have a hole in it or it's perished. So in this case, I'll show you in a second, it's actually the primer bulb that's actually perished on it, and when you was pushing it, it wasn't actually sucking up the fuel. But let me bring you around and show you what I mean. So what it was actually doing is you was pushing it in and it was just taking ages to come out, but it weren't sucking no fuel up. And there is a little trick you can do, which I've actually got it sucking fuel up now, is if you keep pushing it really quickly, it actually starts to draw air up, to draw the fuel up. But you've got to do it really quickly and it will start priming again then, but you can still see the bulb is taking so long to come out. So another thing you can tell when the bulb's gone, because it's just all stretchy like that, look, you shouldn't be able to do that with the bulb. So it is all perished, you can see there. So it has been running this, I've had it actually running before I lifted it up on the table. I should have showed you, but I forgot about it. So I know for a fact it's just a primer bulb issue, and we're going to put a new pull cord on it, because I don't know if you can see here, this one's actually all frayed and that. So there's a couple of jobs we're going to do. It's not actually in too bad a nick, this one. It's a 2009 model, but it hasn't done a lot of work at all, and I will show you underneath it. If you've been on the Butler's Empire channel, you would have seen this mower on there, and you see underneath it's like a new mower. It hasn't done a lot of work at all. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this tank off, going to do a diaphragm and gasket change. I've got one of them here. That's the genuine Briggs and Stratton one. It's come from the log cabin from the old man. So yeah, we've got the new primer bulb there, so that should be alright. That's the part number there for anyone that wants to get one of them. And we've got a new pull cord here, again supplied by the log cabin at Retro Restore. So let's get this tank off. Going to do the diaphragm and gasket and the primer bulb and the pull cord assembly with a new pull rope on it. So let's get started. Right then, so we'll take these two off. On that one. So just drop them back in there. Just leave that there hanging for a minute. Need a flat head. So we'll get the air cover off. So I haven't actually been in this, so I don't know what the air filter's like or anything. So, and that's not too bad actually. In fact, it's actually a new one. It's a non-genuine one, because the genuine ones have Briggs and Stratton on. So you can see that is new. So that's a Brucey bonus. Make sure you don't lose that little O-ring as well. So we'll keep that over there, nice and safe. As you can see, everything's intact there. The spring's not stretched or nothing at all. All the linkages look good and free. Governor arm's nice and under tension as it should be. So I'm happy with that. That doesn't look like it's actually been touched in there. So that's always a good start, because normally these springs will always get stretched, mangled, put in the wrong position. So it's nice to see that's intact. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but on there the actual red rubber is actually on the top of the tank there, so you can tell that it is perishing. So it's no good at all. But I say it's squirting through now. I've managed to get that going, but the bulb's just taking so long to come out. So right, so this front one's normally a 10mm. It's not actually tight, that. Let's just hand tight that. So we'll get that off. Keep that over there. And normally there's a bigger one on the back here. It's normally a 13, I believe, or a 1/2 inch in some cases. So that wasn't too bad. Get that off. Drop that up there. And just slide it off nice and gently. Take the spring off. Do have some long nose pliers on that. And just make sure you don't lose that spring. And then you just want to tip the tank and put that out like that. And that's that. So we can push the mower back now and have a look at this carburetor. So there's the carburetor there. Give you a better look at that primer bulb. It's just totally perished, look. So I'm going to quickly give this a clean because we don't want to introduce no more dirt into the carburetor and into the diaphragm and gasket chambers. So let's give that a clean and I'll come back to you. Right, first of all we're going to undo these there's 5 Phillips screws around here. So we're going to crack them open first. It's not the best lighting out here, it's a bit dark today, overcast, so it's made it a bit darker in here, but I'll tell you what we're doing anyway. So let's just whip these 5 screws out. Normally I've access to my dad's air compressor when I'm down there, and I'll give it a good blowing over, but just making with what we got here. So you don't need all these tools, but they just come in so handy and make the job a lot easier and quicker. So this is just showing that you can do it without all that sort of stuff. So that's M5 out. Let's have a look at this. There's a bit of fuel in there, so it has been letting by. It's got quite a bit of a sag on it, so yeah, it will need changing. We'll do it anyway while we're taking it off and giving it a full service. But can you see it's actually filled? I don't want to see it too much because there's quite a bit of petrol in this tank, but it's actually filled that chamber up there, so we'll come back to that in a minute. We're just going to strip this carb now. Just going to put a bit of tissue down here. I can peel that old one off. And we will clean this face up as well because we want the new one to sit nicely on there. So, but actually the filter looks good on there. The tank looks actually good on there. The petrol seems nice and fresh. It's got a good smell to it. I think it is just this that was letting it down, because I say once I give it a good few really quick pumps, it actually started sucking. So not actually a lot at all wrong with this mower, to be fair. Right, so we're actually going to go ahead now and change this primer bulb, and the way to do that is 2 little clips on either side there. You just need to compress them clips in and that will slide out then. So what I tend to do is I just use a screwdriver and work one side at a time. So that side's just clipped up. Just give it a bit of a head start, so sometimes they can pop in once you go back to the other side, so just bear that in mind. Come on, it's just a matter of wiggling it up side by side and it'll finally come up, and there's the ring. So that's what I mean, you have to just clamp them two sides in for it to lift up, and that will bring up your bulb. That's well stuck on there. Oh, right stuck on there, that was. So yeah, I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean out, and we'll get the new one. Right then, so here's the new one. And that feels perfectly fine. So you just want to slide that in, line the clips up so they're going to slot straight in. See, that's going to drop straight into there, same on either side. We'll push that down, then what I'll find, get a socket and it sits over that nicely. So let's just grab a socket and see which, there we go. Then you can just push that home, so then you'll hear that both sides click in, and that just prevents you from trying to just put a screwdriver down there. With doing that, you've got a chance of piercing that rubber then. So I don't know if you can hear that, that's actually stuck in now nicely, promise as it should be. So we're just going to give this we're just going to put that to one side now and bring the tank back in, because we just want to address this all on there, get rid of this rubbish, clean the chambers out, give it a bit of squirt with carb spray. I did actually clean the carburetor, but I didn't actually press record, so you didn't see that. So that's been fully cleaned with a new primer bulb on it. So I'm just going to clean this up and I'll come back to you. Right then, so we've got the new gasket diaphragm kit. I'm going to get that on. Alright, so you've got your diaphragm there. Just sit that on there, just line all the holes up. Put the gasket on top. We'll bring the carb back in. Make sure that all fits nicely. Just like that. And when you drop these screws in, that will pull everything home where it should be sitting. So yeah, we'll get them 5 pop back in there. All that's rubbish. And well, I'll just wind these in. I was getting a few comments about what tools I'm using and where they're actually from. So what I've actually done now is I've actually put in the link down below the video, not in the description down below the video, I've actually put links to the tools that I use, because a lot of people was asking where I got this from, with all the bits in it, because they're a bit of a deep reach. So yeah, I'll put all the links in the description below for what tools I'm using now, so you'll find them in, you'll find the links for the driver bits there, the DeWalt driver and drill set I've got, what camera stuff I'm using, microphones and all that. All the links are in the description now, so if you want to know what I'm using, it's all there for you to have a look at. And I've also had people asking about Amazon wish lists. I know a few other channels have got them, and I've never really thought about it for myself really, but I've had about, it's been about 3 or 4 different people comment saying that I should get myself a wish list because they would like to put something towards the channel. So I will be dropping the link in the description below for the Amazon wishlist. It's just there for people that have asked, that want to help support the channel. So if you want to have a look down there, it's in the description below. Whatever you buy will be muchly appreciated for the channel, because it's only going to help me hopefully grow the channel. So whatever is sent is really appreciated. So I'm going to stop waffling on now, but so that's that done. Just going to give the little check on there. Hopefully you should see it spray out in a second. It's just priming up. Here we go, it's coming. You can see that on the table, so that's all working as it should. So we'll get that boot put back on there. That is that completed, fully serviced, carbon diaphragm, it's cleaned out, the tank's spot on inside. I don't think you'll be able to see, but I'll give you a bit of a whirl. There's nothing in there at all. Normally there's bits of grass and crap thrown in there, but that's spot on that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, while the tank's off, I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean behind there. So it just makes life a lot easier when coming to clean stuff, when there's stuff out of the way. So let's give it a bit of a clean. Alright, so I'm just going to give it a bit of squirt with the old WD. Give that a bit of a clean up. There's a bit of leaf in there, get that out first. So we're just gonna, you ain't got to go too mad with this stuff, goes a long way. Right, that'll do for around there now. And really, you don't really want to be using tissue. You want a good rag on that, really, because once you get going, you catch the tissue and it starts ripping and catching to bits. So yeah, ideally you want a rag for that. But we're going to get this put back on now, the tank. Also, make sure your O-ring's seated in there. Sometimes they do get stuck on there, and that'll give you a problem with running issues. So make sure that's always seated in there. So we're going to get this governor linkage arm back in. Hopefully, like that. That's all as it should be. Probably does that. Seat that there. Get the two bolts, which was 10 and a 13. So we're just going to put that one in first, because that's in. Don't want it right in first, just get it started, so then you can get your front one in, because sometimes it can pull to the side. So it's just worthwhile getting them both started off before you nick them up. There we go, get that one off. Get that one on. Ain't got to go too mad. Don't want to be stripping no threads. What we're going to do now is take the pull cord assembly off, change that pull cord. We're going to do an oil change on this as well, check the plug, and we're going to give the kill switch a clean at the back, because I've noticed that's all grubbed up. So first of all, we're going to take this off. Right, so we've got the pull cord off. I'm just going to pull that right out. And that's just stop there. Alright, so I'm just going to hold that there with my thumb. I'm going to snip that off. You don't need that now. And if I pull that out of there, new one's here. And I've actually burnt the end on that ready, so we're not messing about. So we'll get that through. There it goes. Just get that screwdriver to dig that up. There we go. just want to tie one knot in that. Pull that through there. Pull that through there. Just give it a good tug. And just let it wind in a bit. Don't let go of it because you don't want the other end to pull straight through. And there we go, that's took all the tension and it's left me a bit there to play with. So we're going to poke that through there, hopefully to get that knot to come out. And we'll just cut that there, where it's gone. That's that done with. We'll pull that out. That's redundant. We'll just give this a little bit of a burn up. Make that nice and solid. Poke that up through there. Just pull this up here. There we go. Give yourself a good length on that. Just pull that. That's nice and tight. There we go. Lovely new pulled on there. So that's that done for the minute. We're just going to give the the kill switch a bit of a clean, and then a little bit of an oil change. I'll just show you this kill switch. I don't know if you can see all that crap on there, but that's not going to help at all. So I'm just going to clean all that off, then change the oil, and I'll come back to you. Right, so we've got the oil out of that, and yeah, that's well due a change in that, because that is jet black in there. So we're going to change that. I've done the kill switch, nice and cleaned, and it's all touching as it should. I think in the shed I've got some silver heat proof paint, so I'm going to give that a quick blast while I'm in this area. And before I put the oil back in, I'm just going to show you what it's like underneath. That is spot on. That blade's got a nice edge on it. Doesn't look like it's done a lot of work at all under there. And that is the only bit of grass build up there, which is nothing. So I'm really happy with that. This plastic ain't even got no chips on it, no scratches or nothing. So yeah, I don't even think I need to touch that blade, because I say it's got a good edge on it and it hasn't done a lot of work at all. So I know the chap said last year he did have it sharpened, the blade, so you can tell he has done, and you can tell it hasn't done a lot of work. So we're not going to mess about under there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this second screw off for the exhaust guard and get that out of the way. And that will just come off like that. I can give all that a good clean then. Right, we're just going to put the oil in now that exhaust guard's out of the way. That'll do for the minute, give that time to set. So we'll just clear that out of the way for a minute. And you've just got these little tabs there, just to stop the bolts from splitting loose. You need to knock them out. Just give them a tap down. give them a bit of a, just get them a minute to soak. Uh, 11 mil. And giving this a paint and taking it off just gives me another opportunity to give it a clean behind here. You can see that's not had a lot of use at all, but it just gives me that option to get in here, get all these leaves out, clear all this grease and soot off. So I'll give that a quick clean and I'll come back to you. Right, well, slight change of plan. I haven't got any heat-proof paint, so I'm not going to be hitting that up on this one, I'm afraid. So I need to look into getting some of that because it does finish off the mowers nicely. And to be fair, I still might even do it yet because it don't take long to whip off the exhaust. It's only 2 bolts for the exhaust guard and then just 2 for this, so it's only a 10-minute job. And just don't forget to bend them tabs back over again. So what I'm going to do now is get the pull cord back on and then we'll check the plug after that. So we'll get that on here. Remember not to get that crimped in there. That'll come there. Just put that in there. Just lift that up now. Go around and do the other 2 up. So it's been sitting now for a good 15 minutes since it's been filled, so it should be to where it needs to be. Spot on the mark. So that's all good. Let's get the plug out. Right then, let's get this plug out. Have to bear the noise in the background. We've got a field over the back here and the farmer's out doing bits in there at the minute by the sounds of it. It's actually a new B2LM already in there, NGK, so it looks like it has been running fine actually, and it hasn't been in there long, so I'm just going to give that a quick wire brush and then we'll put that back in, so I'm happy with that. I actually couldn't find the wire brush, so I gave it a quick going over with carb spray, and look, it was just a bit of soot on there, so it is actually, looks like the bloke's put a new plug in it, obviously thinking that was the problem why it weren't going. So he's obviously put the new plug in and a new air filter, and he's obviously not realised that it's not sucking fuel up. He's just pushing the primer and thinking it's doing what it should be doing, and it actually isn't. So it's a bit hard luck for him, but good news for us. So let's get this plug in and then I think we're good to go to give it a start. Right then, so I've put it all back together now. Basically the moment of truth. So we're going to give it 3 primes. 1, 2, free, and we'll give it a start. Well, let's start. Right then, so there you go, that's Hayter 41, fully serviced, ready to go. Also check the links below if you want to know what tools I'm using. The wish list there for anyone that feels they want to help support the channel is muchly appreciated. So until then, we'll see you next time.